All these people, they expect me to understand. When they don't keep their word, it's, well, you need to understand. You need to understand. No, the fuck I don't. You make zero effort to understand. Why the fuck do I always need to understand? You make zero effort to allow me to be a part of your fucking society, and I'm the one who has to try to understand. No. All these people should be ashamed of themselves. All these people, after they bullshit me and fucking lie to me and lie to me, and then they want to throw a few bucks at me, like, holy shit, that's not gonna fucking touch this goddamn problem. The only thing that'll help is if you speak the fuck up. Jesus goddamn Christ. And then we got these fuck nuggets on here. A troll is a fucking troll is a troll. It doesn't matter if you're getting on here being a fucking douchebag over something that happened in fucking Bosnia or Serbia or fucking Kosovo. Or if you're throwing the Jesus at me. That's not a fucking solution. Getting off your ass is a solution. But it's fine if it's not happening to you, ain't it? Daniel Apathy and Katie Saltzman. Well, neither of them have contacted me back in a good long while. That seems to be about the full effect of it. People bullshit me and bullshit me and bullshit me, and then when it's time to keep their word, it's, oh, well, I can't be found. I'm too busy. I'm sick. I'm sick. All right. Well, have you been sick for 3 goddamn years? That's what I want to know. If you had the flu for 3 fucking years straight, anybody can harm me at any point in time. My credit is shit because anybody can do anything they want to me at any point in time. I cannot defend myself against it. I cannot financially take care of myself. The consequences of the past I have to live with every single day, and it is not worth living. The guy who lives here, he's always fucking depressed. Going over to Aunt B's before Natalie was killed, before I even went to Virginia, was hell. Because she's just so fucking negative all the goddamn time. Always talking about herself, being negative for fucking hours on end. And then at the end of it, she goes, oh, I gotta not talk so negative. Well, duh. She'd say, hey, Sean, if you come over and help me, I'll help you. So I go over there and I help her, and I help her, and I help her, and I help her. And Uncle D comes home and he's a dick. Then the next day she's gonna help me, and I go over there to get her help, and she's so busy talking about her fucking rheumatoid arthritis meds. Like, all right, I get it. You're on rheumatoid arthritis meds. I get that it's painful. I get it. I'm in pain too. I'm jumping through hoops for you, Brenda. I'm jumping through these fucking hoops. I'm doing what you're asking. I'm doing the best that I can. But you don't get a lot done when you go over there to try to get the paperwork so you can get disability taken care of. And she's busy talking the whole time about her fucking bowel movement. These damn meds, it's these medications for my arthritis. I'm like, oh my God. Like, seriously, I've heard already. I know. I heard the first 30 times you said it today. So, of course, trying to get her help after Natalie was dead, that fucking not gonna fucking happen. Sure, she said she'd show up. Sure, she said she'd speak up. But the other thing is, because the position I was in, I had to depend on others. You shouldn't have to depend on others. Shouldn't have to. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, what the fuck ever. I don't live in your fantasy world. I'm living my life. And your world is fantasy to me. I can't see it. I can't feel it. I can't smell it. I can't touch it. It's not real to me. You know what's real to me? This door's real. That light right there, that's real. The fact that I'm in a 5x5 box, that's very fucking real. Holy shit. Star Magia just typed me something. Holy fuck. This is one of the things about taking the time to call and listen. Like, a lot of times, I take a lot of time for people who are gonna listen, gonna listen, gonna listen, gonna call, gonna call, gonna call. And they do have legit problems of their own, whether it's kids crying or, uncles dying or whatever it happens to be. Yeah, people do have legit issues. But then it's the fact that I've waited so long for this person to keep their fucking word. I am fucking exhausted just from waiting. And I fucking pass out. And then when I wake up, it's, oh, I missed a phone call. Well, that's pleasant. All right, I'll message him back. But those phone calls are important. You're not going to understand what's going on in texting. You're not. That has to do with a lot of the lack of body language and the lack of vocal tone. If somebody's saying something and they're trying to be sweet and caring, and it's because they're sweet and caring and they do care about you, and you want to take it as fucking sarcasm, if you hear their voice, you know it's not sarcasm. But in typing, you just want to assume the worst. It's fucking stupid. I tried to get the cops to help. I tried to get anybody that I knew to fucking help. But none of them wanted to fucking hear it. They wanted to tell me how to think and feel. Now, this is one of those things where Star, she's new to it. She's not getting that people have typed this to me 1,000 times, and I've tried this repeatedly. It lacks any real substantial understanding of my situation, so she doesn't mean it personal. But she typed, have you ever thought about leaving somewhere far away, like just leaving everyone behind? Yeah, I have. I fucking have. I would love to go somewhere where I will just be left the fuck alone. Where I can do my own thing and I don't have to fear being assaulted by fucking cops or the public. Somewhere where I don't have to fear being run off because of bad laws. That would be fucking great. You know what would be even better is if people would stop making that fucking suggestion. People got all sorts of great fucking ideas. They just don't have any ears. You could have the greatest idea in the whole fucking world, but if it don't fit the situation, it don't fit the situation. Now, star doesn't mean anything personal at all. I am absolutely sure of that. But really, it would be nice if she would call and I could explain to her what's going on instead of typing and leave everyone behind. They already threw me the fuck away. I am by myself in this motherfucker, in this thing. You know why I'm not in Colorado with my loved ones? Because none of them gave a fuck. None of them fucking cared. And then here's the part where it's basically I'm wasting my time. Says I probably can't help with all your problems, but I can hear you out, and once we do move, I'll be able to help in better ways. No, she's not moving to Nebraska. For me, our relationship isn't going to be any different. And I don't mean like a boyfriend girlfriend relationship. I mean the interaction that we have between one another. It's still going to be on the internet. Not only that, but without a cosigner and with all of these people that are promising to help me. If I do this, they'll do that. If I do this, they'll do that. And I jump through all their fucking hoops. And then when I'm done, they remake the deal every fucking time. And everyone fucking does that with me. I don't have a safe place to go. Where am I going to fucking move to? I cannot physically or financially fucking take care of myself. Where the fuck am I supposed to move to? Where the fuck do you want me to move? Huh? Where the fuck do you want me to move? All of you fucking strangers who want to pop on here for fucking 3 weeks at a time, pretend like you want to be my friends, and then you're gonna ignore me. Tell me I wanted it, needed it, chose it, or deserved it, just like everybody fucking else. I'm overwhelmed for a reason. I'm not overwhelmed from mental illness. I'm overwhelmed from fucking abuse. I cannot take care of myself financially because of the abuse. And it's all because I was never allowed to defend myself because I was called mentally ill. No, I'm not going to stop and waste my time with you exclusively if you're not going to do a goddamn thing. If all you can do is listen, then go back through my fucking videos and listen. Don't waste my fucking time. I am overwhelmed, all right? And each one of these people wants to say, well, don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. Bitch, let me explain to all of you fucking idiots something. Let's say we got a plastic bag and we start putting pennies in it. Each one of those pennies represents what? A good fucking thought. This is your happy fucking thought for the day. This is your off to Neverland fucking fairy dust, pixie dust bullshit, all right? Each one of these people wants to put a penny in your bag, and these pennies are adding up. Yeah, sure they are. You only got one bag. The bag is wearing out. The more pennies go in there, the more likely the bottom is going to fall out and everything is going to fall all over the ground. Not to mention the fact that I'm carrying around a bunch of extra fucking weight. You don't mean anything but fucking personal. You don't. But all of your suggestions, it's a happy fucking thought, but a penny is not going to get me shit. A whole bunch of happy fucking thoughts isn't going to get me shit either. It's going to get me over fucking loaded and overwhelmed. When you say that you're going to help me and then you're busy telling me about all of your fucking problems, you are not helping me, you're overwhelming me. When you say that you're going to help me and then you say that you've got writer's block after 3 years of abuse, all it would have taken is one of these pieces of shit. And yes, they're all pieces of shit in my mind right now. When these people needed help, I didn't give them excuse after excuse after excuse. I didn't make promises and not fucking deliver. Meanwhile, the shit that they're having me do is a lot more fucking difficult than what I'm asking for. All I'm asking for is the fucking truth. And then as time goes on, they're like, oh, well, I can't remember anything anymore. Well, why the fuck didn't you write it down? Why the fuck didn't you do something from the beginning? All of these people who have all of these fucking suggestions, where do you think I am supposed to fucking go? And as far as leaving everybody behind, why don't you drop off everybody that you love? Everyone. Drop off your fucking kids. Drop off your husband. Drop off your fucking wife. And just hit the fucking road. See how far you get before you're fucking victimized. It's not that your fucking penny is a bad thing. It's a good thought. But you're putting more on my fucking plate. You're not helping, you're making things worse. Did you ever think about moving? Yes, I did! Because of the bullshit at the courts and the bullshit in the news, it doesn't matter where the fuck I go. I can't see my loved ones. I am stuck with the assholes in this town. Everybody's allowed to be a judgmental asshole, but nobody wants to be fucking judged. Everybody in this town is fucking depressed because everybody in this town is a shithead. There's nothing actually fun to do. What do you do for fun as a kid in Chapel, Nebraska? Well, you get raped by your dad. You get beaten up by your mom or your dad. I mean, both of them are probably alcoholics. You can go out shooting. You get drunk yourself and go get pregnant. You can do meth. There's always picking on nerds or their favorite pastime in this town, talking shit about each other. If there's one thing I learned about folks in Chapel, Nebraska, is that the only people they hate more than blacks, Mexicans, and Muslims is each other. Nobody in Chapel likes anybody else in Chapel. They're all just fucking pretending because they're all lonely. It's fucking stupid. Like, yeah, you want to complain to me about that fucking jerk who keeps stealing beer out of your fucking garage. Meanwhile, you invite that dude who's stealing beer from your garage over to your house. Why are you bitching to me about it? That's the trade that you made. If you tell on that dude for stealing your beer, he's not going to come over to your house anymore. So you still want his company. So instead of doing something about it, you bitch at me. He keeps coming over and stealing my fucking beer. Yeah, but you're going to have him over for a barbecue on Saturday, aren't you? I was going to call Brandon, wasn't I? You know, when the first person put a penny in, that wasn't a big thing. The second penny, no biggie. You know, I'm glad to have it. I'm believing that these people with that penny, that's their happy thought. That's their promise. And I'm hoping I'm not going to walk around with that promise for 6 fucking months because In 6 months, it's not going to do me any fucking good. See, when people actually care about you, they actually make the time. These people couldn't make the time to tell the truth. Miss Peaches, she could take me to my appointments and help me set them up, but she couldn't speak up about it in court. Other people's decisions are not my fault, but how I've been treated as a result of other people's decisions is inhumane. And apparently, it's also acceptable. You pick the right victim and it's all okay. You pick somebody who's homeless. You pick somebody who's called mentally ill.
Hello?
Hey, Brandon.
Hey, Sean.
How you doing tonight?
Oh, doing all right. Just looking up brakes on a Jeep that I'm gonna be looking at here shortly.
Were you able to get a hold of Ventus?
Of who?
Ventus?
Dentist?
No, Ventus. Ventus.
I did not.
He was gonna try to come up here and help me. You remember I was telling you about that black dude who was profiled in Denver?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's him. He's that the black skateboarder. You know, the one that did all the tricks on the longboard that Laura and Josh were talking about? That's him.
I don't know why I don't remember that very well.
Well, if you seen him, you'd remember him.
Yeah.
But
Gotcha.
dude, I really need people to come forward. I don't know how better to explain that to folks. Like, people keep saying stuff isn't their fault, and I get that it's not their fault, or in some cases it actually is, but they don't think that it should be, or they don't think that they should have consequences. But I'm just asking for them to tell the truth. I'm overwhelmed with it. Like, a lot of people, they keep telling me, well, you know, my this person in my family is schizophrenic, and that person in my family is schizophrenic, and so you got a long hill ahead of you. And I'm like, well, dude, that person's schizophrenic. Am I schizophrenic? No. Well, then you need to speak up. That's what I need you to speak up about. Am I schizophrenic? No. They're going to give me the mentally ill treatment and pretend like I'm schizophrenic unless people speak up. All of those stories that I told right at the beginning, those are true stories. And if people had spoken up, it would have made a difference.
Yeah.
Like, look at how many resources that you've spent. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong, I've sent money back and tried to pay back and all that, but just look at the time and the energy that you have spent in the last 3 years. And really, like, none of that shit would have happened if somebody, and it wouldn't have had to necessarily been you or Veronica or Joanna or anybody else, just somebody. But you see how much extra work it is because nobody did so when it mattered.
Oh, yeah.
Like, after 7 months, when I got to the point where I literally had to flee the state of Colorado for my own safety, I was so pissed at everybody. I'm still pissed at all of you. You know, that doesn't mean that I don't care, but damn, dude, like, I can't see any of you, and people keep giving me stupid suggestions, like, why don't you move? You know, how many times have you helped me move since Natalie disappeared?
At least a couple, three.
You know, you helped me move my stuff, like, you're a witness to all of that. You fucking sent me money so I could get from California to Virginia, and we were hoping that those were good things. Those were good thoughts. That's what we were hoping for. When Brett turned out to be all strung out on meth like that, that destroyed everything. That let me know that I wasn't going to get help there. I still kept trying though,
Yeah.
but I'm almost out of that money, dude. Like I have to get help. If you're not gonna come here and help, I'm gonna continue trying to find someone else. I don't put all my eggs in one basket. I can't. But the problem is that even if I put my eggs in 20 baskets, none of the baskets come back.
Yeah.
Then
So,
once,
so as far as coming out there, I mean, what do you need me to do?
well, come out and talk to me in person. Like, first of all, I don't have anyone positive to hang out with. I don't have any friends here. I don't. This place fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And I really, if I can get you to do so, I want you to write that down while you're here. I mean, I need to be able to take these people to court so that I can stop this victimization. I can't take care of myself because of everything that happened.
Yeah.
And without somebody there who can, stand up and speak, like they did whatever they wanted. Every little last dirty trick that I told all y'all that they would pull, they did. And it's not like y'all haven't seen them do that to other people. It's not like I was fucking talking about something that never ever happened.
Yeah.
But my predators, they had a lot of fucking help, and people keep telling me about how they're too busy, they're too busy, they're too busy. If people are too busy after 3 years, like holy fuck. I can understand if people are too busy for 2 weeks. That's understandable. If it takes longer than that, and let's say it takes 3 months, that is not understandable, but it is somewhat acceptable in this situation because at 3 months I still could have done something to defend myself, but they won't let me defend myself as long as I don't have someone there saying, "Hey, you guys need to stop treating him like he's mentally ill." Every
Yeah.
time that I went in there by myself and I was calm, they pretended that it didn't happen. Every time that I had to go in there by myself and fucking it wasn't going smoothly and they were fucking being assholes to me and instigating the situation, I was there by myself every time. You know how you were treated at that party over Veronica?
Oh
Well, imagine going to Washington State and getting treated that way. Imagine that you can't see your dad or your mom or your brothers or your you can't see any of those people. You can't see any of your friends. You can't go over to Hippie Chris's party. You can't go anywhere. You can't go to Boulder to see your friends there. You can't go to fucking Loveland to see your friends there. Everywhere that you go, you have to fucking look over your shoulder, and you don't have the benefit of the mental health or physical health attributes that you get from having a family.
yeah.
A lot of people they said that they went in and talked to the police, like just like with you, you said that you went in, but I can't use that in court. You have to say that in court. Also, it doesn't do me any good to try to get a lawyer with that because, well, you didn't write down the name of the officer, and neither did anybody else. I don't have a copy of what was sent to them or what was said to them, so basically, it's just your word versus theirs, and they play on that heavily. A lot of the stuff that people wrote, I tried showing it to officers and saying, "Hey, get a hold of these guys." And they're like, "Well, how do we know you didn't write that? How do we know you didn't write that?" And I got them, you know, recorded saying and doing that shit, but nobody cares. When you're called mentally ill, you're not allowed to do anything. And I don't have the benefits that your brother does. Like with your brother, you know, he is schizophrenic. There really isn't a whole lot in a lot of these situations that you can do. You can actually do more for me because I'm not, just by admitting that I'm not. But as long as people are just like, oh, well, Sean, you're smart, you should be able to take care of it. You know, I have to continue this abuse. Out of that money that I got, I'm down to like $2,500 of it. You know, I'm spending all this money on trying to invest in people who say that they're going to help. They say they'll show up. I'm like, yeah, I'll pay the money for gas. I'll pay it. I'll pay the money for fucking insurance if that's what it needs. If you have a vehicle and you need a license, fucking, I'll send the money. I need the help.
Yeah.
I'd like
Oh,
to.
yeah, I mean, it's not really fair, you know.
I do know. I live in a 5x5 shack.
Yeah.
I don't hardly ever leave the thing.
Well, so I've been behind on.
I can't hear you.
You hear me now?
I can.
Okay. So I was saying that, currently I've been frickin', behind on payment this, payment that for frickin' weeks, months. I don't know, a couple weeks ago, I was damn near about to get my truck repossessed because it was over, it was 75 days past due.
Do you have a normal job, or do you have something you can step away from?
I have a step awayable situation, kind of, but I recently started kind of taking care of this girl and her mom, partially. Actually, I'm sitting with them and their two dogs right now. Or rather, they walked into Walmart and I'm sitting out in a Jeep with their two dogs. I just rebuilt their whole motor on the road in Arkansas. I've been pretty much helping them since. Now, in theory, in 1 to 5 days, they're going to go to Arizona. And once they come back, they should have housing and shit. And they should be, somewhat self-sufficient. Now, when they go to Arizona, I was just thinking about it. I could probably jump in one of my vehicles and just come up, rather.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Dude, I really need your help. You're somebody who's been, you may not know everything, but you've been involved in this situation since before Natalie and Alicia were even in my life. You know, I mean, you were involved in all of that stuff all along the way. Somebody who knows what's going on needs to do something. I went to Steve Tomlinson, but he wasn't familiar with any of this stuff. You know, he wasn't one of the people who was involved in trying to get me home from Virginia. When he went into court, it was somebody who didn't know what the hell was going on going into court. It's kind of like when you went into court with me there in Rawlins, Wyoming. Like, you didn't know shit about the situation. But
I mean, I did virtually what I could to understand something before we went in, if you remember.
yep, and with me having absolutely no fucking sleep, I slept the whole fucking ride. I had no goddamn clue what the hell was going on for most of that ride. I just remember waking up when we got there and we went into the coffee shop.
Yeah. Yeah, which it's kind of a miracle that at least we had that much time to wake up and think and talk, but still obviously wasn't really enough.
Yeah. Well, at least Brittany didn't need a ride. she was able to get all her stuff taken care of, I guess, which is good.
Need a ride?
Yeah, that lady in Colorado that I was going to have you give a ride up here.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the guy who owns the place's sister.
Yep. Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. But like with that situation, by the time that rolled around, if somebody would have come forward, from the beginning and understood that, like I tried to explain to people what the mentally ill treatment is, and a lot of people who have family that's schizophrenic, they're like, "Oh no, Schwartz, they'd never treat you like that." I'm like, "They've treated me like that my whole life." That's what happens when they label you like that. You never get that off unless somebody fucking says, "Hey, whoa, hold the fuck up."
Yeah.
And the problem is, like, I have all of this evidence and all of these recordings that prove that I'm telling the truth, but literally, they won't look at it. I have to go to police officers that I'm trying to turn in. They were able to railroad me only because they were able to prevent me from showing what they were doing illegally to me. And the only reason that I was unable to show any of the illegal shit that was being done to me is because nobody else would speak up. Nobody could comprehend that I would ever be treated that way. And I've been trying to explain to everybody my whole life, hey, that's the way that I get treated. Just because you're not there to see it doesn't mean I don't get treated that way. Also, if you're there in person, I'm less likely to get treated that way. I don't remember people ever trying to start a fight with me over no fucking good goddamn reason whatsoever when I was with you or Veronica. It's because it was safety in numbers. I was with you and Veronica. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But there was a lot of stuff like people, when they're doing stuff and texting, and I'm frustrated. I can't possibly type as fast as they can, and they get just real mean about it. I eventually get mean back. I do. I get tired of being unable to explain in typing, even though I type the same thing over and over again. Veronica, I can't get my W-2 forms right now at this moment. I have to wait for Jesse to get back to work, and Jesse isn't working today. And that was some big old argument for some stupid reason. And then there was that bike. Like after I hurt my back, I couldn't get onto that bike. And she kept on trying to bring that up, and she wanted to know where it was at. I'm like, it's over at Josh's. I can't ride the thing. What good does it do me if I have a back that is too fucked up to get on it? And then people, whenever they want help, they always forget that, yeah, I can't do all of the things that people want me to do. My back is seriously fucked up. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah.
Like it sucked. You were shit. You knew my boss is stone lighting, for Christ's fucking sake. I love that job. Nick is a funny son of a bitch. Plus, he's like a nerd of my caliber. He's into fucking Star Wars and shit. This is a dude who made a fucking suit of armor out of our fucking shipping boxes. Yeah, I love that fucking job. If I hadn't hurt my back, I would probably still be there.
Yeah. I remember talking to Nick's girlfriend at that time, and I guess I don't know. Veronica and Nick were talking about moving in together, and they were talking about, oh, frickin' Amanda at the time, who was his girlfriend, and Veronica and I at the time, all moving in with Nick. And I don't know. I remember learning that her and Nick were fucking around while all that was going on.
Well, I guess you probably wouldn't like Nick then. That makes
Well,
sense.
no. I mean, hey, I can kind of dig on the freaking nerdy, geeky side of things, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sounds like a decent human being to some degree, but then again, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Motherfucker might as well have shat on my chest.
Yeah, that's kind of like Chris Stegman, his whole stance with Jamie Curtis and James Payton. He's like, I don't like James, but most of that is because of what I heard. And, by the time we heard it here in chapel. Everything was already done and over with. And he was telling me about the guy that told him and so on and so forth. But he's like, I've dated two girls that James Payton dated, and neither one of them thought that James would ever hit a woman ever in a million years. He said, James really does seem like a decent dude to me. And you know what? James Payton has come across as a decent dude to me, too. Every interaction that me and him personally have had. That situation up in South Dakota with me helping move Jamie out of there. Like, there was a lot of manipulating going on with that I wasn't aware of. Although I should have known better. It's kind of her MO. But, like, see, the thing is that I was getting treated like basically like I'm your brother. I mean, your brother most of the time isn't violent, but he is kind of out there, and people aren't going to listen to him if he goes into the police station. If somebody beats him up and takes his wallet, and he goes into the police station, they're not going to take him seriously. They're not going to take a police report. If he's bleeding, they might, but if he's not bleeding, they're just going to give him the mentally ill treatment, lock him up, and put him on those drugs. Looks like my computer froze up. I was going to check my Facebook messages while we're talking, but it's a black screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another thing is, like, the people that I need to come forward, that's people like you and people like Miss Peaches. I shouldn't have ever had to deal with any of these web wingnuts. And the only reason I was dealing with the web wingnuts is because I couldn't get anybody I knew in person to stop chasing tail or stop chasing booze or stop chasing heroin or fucking. And it sucks for me because, like, I'm different. I'm different enough that I get treated the same way the junkies do. I don't even do the junk. Does any of that make sense, Brandon?
Yeah, it makes.
I stayed away from the drugs, and everybody fucking knew that. But then when they do fucked up shit because they're strung out, I'm easy to victimize because nobody's gonna step forward. I don't have a family that gives a shit. And then all these people who have families, they don't understand what it's like not to have that. How easy you are to victimize when people aren't afraid that your family will get involved. I was hoping that, because Ventus was thinking about coming up here and helping me for a bit. Like, I was hoping you might be able to give him a ride up here when you came.
Gotcha. And that's that dude you're talking about, Longboarder in Denver or whatever.
Yep. You remember the apartments that David or that Josh and Laura lived on Table Mesa?
Yeah, kinda.
The one we moved them out of?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ventus lived the next apartment building over.
Huh.
He kind of took care of homeless folks. Is kind of what he did. He'd been homeless before though, so he kind of knew the gig. If it was snowing out and it was freezing, he might have 6 or 7 homeless people in various states that passed out. Do you know when that might be?
Second.
Do you know when that might be that they'd go to Arizona?
Theoretically, within the next couple, 3, 4, maybe 5 days. I would think it will be within the next couple, 3 days.
So it would be sooner rather than later. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it would theoretically be sometime next week.
Well, I'm down to about $2,500, and it's pretty obvious I'm not going to be able to get property. The thing is that I do need to be able to defend myself.
Why is that obvious now?
Because that's not enough money to buy anything, and I
I mean,
don't have
there's at
credit.
least some properties at that price, no?
No, there's not. Like once you start getting into paying everything that you need to, that $2,500 isn't going to be shit. There is hardly any land that you can get for that price that they're just going to sell 1, 2, maybe 3 acres. I've been doing that for years. Like when I had everything set up so that I could get land before Natalie died, like that was a very rare situation, and it was all of that money got eaten up. All that money got eaten up at Tabby's. That got eaten up paying rent. It got eaten up going to appointments where my public pretenders didn't even show up. It got fucking eaten up going to see public pretenders and going to court dates and going to see investigators and jumping through every goddamn hoop that every motherfucker wanted me to jump through because of the term mentally ill. And the whole time, like, I literally can't explain to any of y'all enough how important it is for you guys to speak up. I'm not allowed. But nobody has the time. Everybody is constantly, like, most of the time it's females. Nobody can do the because they're busy helping females. And meanwhile, most of these females have a bunch of other people that are helping them too. And I'm like, holy shit, if I only had a vagina, a brain does me no fucking good. Why could I not have been born with a fucking vagina? If a girl needs help, she gets it immediately. Most of the guys that I know that consider themselves good men, I can't consider them a good man. I try to. A lot of these folks, I'm like, you know what? These are good people. They've always been good to me. But then again, when I'm getting kicked in the teeth, they're going to go help somebody else who's got a nice rack. I don't even like Nordstrom's. That wasn't even a good joke.
Wasn't too bad.
But I'm trying to explain to people that without someone going in with me in person, people saying, oh, you're smart, Schwartz. You should figure it out. I got it figured out. I already knew what it would take right from the very beginning. It would take someone not blowing me off, not busy telling me all of their stuff and going, all right, Sean, we'll take a look at the evidence. Instead of having, multiple 30-minute conversations, or even sometimes people listen to me. But at the end of it, we haven't gotten anywhere. I'm still hundreds of miles away. I'm still having to deal with this stuff. I should be making police reports every single day about the harassment that I endure, and I don't even live this. I don't even leave this fucking cubicle most of the time. It's literally a 5x5 box that I live in. I lost my housing because I had to do drastic shit to try to get help. All of the drastic shit that I tried to get help with that I had to do. It's not like I didn't ask you for help first. It's not like I didn't ask for Peaches for help first. When people weren't able to make it, the police get to write down whatever they want. If you weren't able to make it because you had to work, well, that's not what they're going to say. Now, if you'd have been there to say, hey, that cop outright lied, that's not the reason that Sean isn't getting help. That's not the reason that I didn't help. But that's the thing, is that I got to show you all of the slander for my court dates, and you can go through and realize yourself how much of it you personally know is bullshit.
Yeah. We got a hell of a court date coming up, but I'm not sure if I can just call Oklahoma fucking police department and maybe not have to show up for court in, I don't know, 35, 40 days.
I'm assuming that's a moving violation and not a pot fee.
Yeah, pretty much pinned me with entrapment. And, they have this quiet little fucking stop sign down a hell of a country highway. And even though I was paying incredible attention, I've driven like 1,000,000 miles in my lifetime, or over 1,000,000 miles. Really, that's probably the worst stop sign I've ever seen. And, obviously they're not worried about safety, because if they're worried about safety, they just would have put up some flashing lights rather than had a freaking officer sitting at the darkest little stop sign ever on a country highway in the dark with no lights on, which is technically entrapment. But,
yeah, there was a YouTube video I saw where somewhere in Tennessee they have a stop sign in the middle of a street. Not like literally in the middle of the street, but it's a long highway, and on that highway where the stop sign is, there's no left or right turnoff. There's no reason for the stop sign to be there.
yeah.
But then there's a grove of trees a little bit further down, and of course, it's Tennessee. They got to make money somehow, and everybody who's local knows to stop at that sign because they'll pull you over.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a similar deal. I mean, literally every other stop sign in the state that I saw that was even somewhat similar, they had flashing lights alerting you to it. And the lady officer probably didn't like what I had to say, but I said, hey, for what it's worth, I've driven over 1,000,000 miles. I have 25 vehicles. And I said, this stop sign is in need of some flashing lights or something. And I said, hey, obviously maybe it would take away from revenue, but if it's about safety, that's what y'all should be doing.
I agree.
I don't think she liked my response.
Well, that just sucks for them, don't it? Nope, it doesn't, because they have the position of power. If you say something they don't like,
Right.
yeah. On the bright side, you're white, so you didn't get shot.
Well, yeah, you got a point there.
A lot of folks here, they try to pretend that racism doesn't exist. Meanwhile, it's the racists here who are pretending that racism doesn't exist. We passed laws back in the 60s. I'm like, holy fuck. And you're still dropping the N-bomb every other day. And that's only because I only see you every other day.
Yeah.
Well, in order to get all this stuff going, I got to be able to show somebody in person who can speak up for me. And like I said, I'm not allowed to. At this point, it's cost me so much that it's not right for them not to shoot me in the head after what they've done. Nearly everything that those officers said was an outright lie. But I can't get people to understand. Like, the reason that I can't go to Colorado to see my loved ones there is because it's unsafe for me. It's unsafe for me because none of them spoke up. When I went to them for help, they didn't do anything. The least they could do after, a year before Natalie fucking died, I was trying to get help from Miss Peaches. I was trying to get help from JoJo. And it with Joanna, I can understand that. She's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white girl. She's pretty spoiled. For her to understand any of this would be like, I'd be like expecting somebody who was born into the Trump family to know what fucking poverty is.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, that's another one of them prime examples of people having a fucking bad day and taking it out on me. Derek, when I went to him and his girlfriend for help, him and Joanna got into an argument. He didn't want to take it out on her, so he decided he was gonna fucking be a dickhead to me while I was flustered. My words didn't connect exactly perfectly, and he spent fucking 3 days being a goddamn jackhole to me. I'm like, dude, it's an argument between you and JoJo. You need to just leave me the fuck out of it. Leave me the fuck alone. Finally got to the point where he was trying to get violent with me outside. I'm like, dude, I didn't call you outside to be violent. I called you outside because inside you're trying to fucking show off for your mom and your girlfriend. Out here we can at least talk like human beings. But no, he couldn't stop yelling. And people throw a fucking tantrum like a motherfucker if I yell. Sean, you're evil. Sean, you're unhinged. Sean, you need mental help. You need to take some pills. Meanwhile, their pills do the same shit as the meds they put in your brother. Like that shit, when they got something that works, maybe you should stick with it. If something doesn't work, you don't get to pretend that the person you put those drugs into is the bad guy because you put mind altering drugs into them.
Yeah.
But for me, I want you to imagine that I've been given that treatment and injected with drugs on multiple occasions, over a dozen occasions, dude. Since Natalie's death, I've been fucking dragged in and fucking shot up. And for each one of those situations where I was dragged in and fucking shot up with drugs, there was at least a dozen people that were fucking offering to help that didn't keep their word. All these people expect me to take care of it myself. I'm not capable. If I was capable, it would be done. It's not that I'm not making the effort, it's that I get treated like shit whether I make the effort or not because people can't see me making the effort. Why the fuck am I making the effort just to be treated like shit for doing what people ask? Sorry, somebody's calling me from a restricted number. I got stalkers.
That's right.
It's really not.
Well, no. I'm saying, you don't have to apologize to me for that.
If you consider all of the time and resources that you've spent in the last 3 years, and then we figure in all of the other people with the same thing, like it's a lot of wasted fucking time and resources that could have been all alleviated just by somebody coming forward at the very fucking beginning. And people say don't live in the past. Well, that's the thing is that's everybody's fucking cop out. That affects me to this day, so I'm not living in the past. I am living in the present with the consequences. I wasn't allowed to speak, and nobody wanted to understand that. I wasn't allowed to speak. And all these people who want to say, hey, Sean, you know, you got to take care of that yourself. I'm not allowed. If I explain that to them 400 times, they still don't get that I'm not allowed. You have to speak for me. When I told those stories were true. And the reason that I was asking people to come forward because nobody's going to listen to me, no matter what. Since I was 6 years old, it's that goddamn mentally ill tag. Like the stipulations that go along with that is that they take away and strip away all of your rights, and the only way that you have any rights is if you have family who gives a shit, and I just simply don't.
Yeah.
And then like I don't have any friends. I don't have any friends that I can go see. But the people who are here who are happy to see me, most of the time it's because they're fucking having to deal with drunks. And I'm not drunk. I'm actually an intelligent human being. But then there's also the fact that there's a bunch of stuff that I never wanted to post on fucking YouTube to begin with. I just wanted you guys to tell the fucking truth in court. I wanted you guys to go in with me so that I wouldn't be victimized for trying to turn it in. But just like it always was when I was homeless, no matter who it was that was homeless that was being victimized, you asked for help and nobody helps. They give you all of these pretty fucking words, and then everything is always more important to them. I'm like, hey, between coming forward and me blowing my goddamn head off on fucking YouTube, what do you want? I need help to stop the abuse. I need a safe environment, and I need my fucking resources back. I can't defend myself because of what happened, and I'm sick of fucking begging for anybody to fucking find the goddamn time to tell the fucking truth. Everybody's busy chasing fucking pussy. Like, goddamn, that's what's fucking wrong with this world. Women have learned that they can take advantage of men, and men just have to fucking take it. We are expected to help them, even if they're wrong. We are expected to fucking eat their bullshit lies up like it's fucking candy. But we can't help ourselves out, or we're bad people. We're selfish. We can't help a man out because we're not allowed. Men have to take care of it themselves. I'm going fucking nuts, Brandon. I didn't just help out women, I helped out men as well.
Yep, I have since I was a fucking little kid, really. Indiscriminately.
You know, I should have never been abused to begin with. I should have just been left alone. It wasn't my fault that Natalie and Alicia and all them were on fucking heroin. That wasn't my choice. When they wanted my help, they fucking got it. You know, the police wrote down whatever the fuck they wanted, and you know, all these people who had all these fucking excuses that they were giving me, why they couldn't, why they couldn't, why they couldn't, that they tried, that they tried, that they tried. Fucking come forward. If you tried, fucking come forward. If you didn't fucking come forward, then you're fucking manipulating. And I mean that for everybody, Brandon. It's been 3 fucking years. People procrastinated until I had to leave the state. And then they used the fact that I was not in the same state as their excuse for fucking doing nothing. Well, what's your excuse for the 7 goddamn months of hell after Natalie fucking died that everybody was too fucking busy chasing tail, chasing drugs? People say, well, you chose this by the way that you act. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on a second. I have a valid fucking reason for acting this way. I need fucking help. I don't need pretty fucking words. Like everything is last fucking minute. All that bullshit with all that court in fucking Wyoming, it's all fucking last minute. That motherfucker, I called him repeatedly. He didn't bother to call me at all. I got lucky. The only reason that I even knew there was a goddamn court date is because they said shit general mail. I'm like, holy fuck. The motherfucker can't answer his goddamn phone. I probably made 60 phone calls to that piece of shit before he finally fucking answered. And people are telling me, well, you know, the fucking Schwartz, obviously you're not telling the truth because they're not allowed to do that. I'm like, I'm telling you that I got video evidence of it. Why don't you look at the fucking evidence? Cops aren't allowed to rape people in fucking Broomfield, but they did it anyway. And even with Elijah McClain and people seeing how he was fucking treated and the fact that he's fucking dead, people still want to pretend like I don't have that fucking risk every goddamn day. I needed someone to go in with me for my fucking protection, and none of you fucking cared, Brandon. The fact that you didn't show up wasn't the fucking problem. The problem was that you didn't speak up. That's the problem to this day, Brandon, and it's not just you. It's not just you that I'm frustrated. It's everybody. When they don't keep their word, I'm the one who has the consequences, and nobody gets that. When Peaches didn't show up in court and didn't write a report, it didn't matter to her. There were no fucking consequences for her. She can throw me away like I'm trash. Same thing with Graham. Same thing with Tabby. Same thing with Veronica. And yeah, I get that it's mostly women that are doing this fucked up shit, but there's men who the men didn't do shit. They never do. They say, hey, you should, you should, you should. And I'm like, I can't do these things. They won't let me. Telling me to do something that I'm not allowed to do because of a title that you know is bullshit. That's why I got to go to you, is because you know the title is fucking bullshit. And that right there is their excuse for not doing their goddamn jobs. I have to endure this abuse for the rest of my life because the cops didn't do their jobs, and they didn't have to because all they had to do was make it their word versus mine. And I knew that that was going to happen from experience, and I tried explaining it to all of you. Hey, if you don't go in with me, they're going to do fucked up shit. They were claiming I wasn't trying. It's not my fault that people always had some excuse when it came time to do it. Whether it's an excuse or a valid reason doesn't matter if they never fucking speak up. Like with you writing or calling those places and telling those agencies these things, I don't have any evidence of that. I don't know which officers you talked to. Aaron Cockerham, same thing. Same thing with Carl Rogers. All these people who claimed that they talked to officers, there's no proof of it. And I've called these places trying to get the proof. Like, hey, you know, this person says they talked to you guys, and this person says they talked to you guys. Well, do you know which officer it was? No. Well, do you know what day it was? No. Well, then we can't help you. I know, I know. And I tried explaining that to everybody from the start. Hey, these police officers, the things that you're telling me these police officers said to you, it's illegal. But it doesn't make any fucking difference if you can't remember which fucking cop it was. Nobody saved any fucking evidence. It's just their word versus the fucking cops, which is the whole reason for going in with me. I can't just automatically assume that you talked to those cops. That's not gonna fucking fly in court. You have to have some evidence that you fucking made that effort. I'm having to do all of this on hearsay. Like, I wasn't there when you talked to those cops. I have no idea what you said to them. I can't take that to a fucking lawyer because there's nothing to take to them. It's just your word. And it's not your word even coming from you. It's coming from me. I have to say, well, there's this guy, Brandon Ratner, and he tried calling the cops. Well, I don't know, Brandon. I'm not going to make an effort because you're mentally ill. And that's the way that I get treated by the public pretenders. How many times did my public pretenders call you?
Never.
Right? They never called Aaron Cockerham. They never called Miss Peaches. They never called anybody. They didn't fucking care. And that's the point. Like, I've been trying to get help. I'm not allowed to do it myself. And none of these people, not one of these people that I went to for help, seems to understand that. I mean, with you, the best part about you is you're not strung out on meth and you're not strung out on alcohol. But the other thing is, I don't have the technical computer skills and I shut down now. Like, I shut down. I need help. I ask for help when I need it. That's it. But I can't show people in a calm fucking environment when I'm trying to fucking figure out all of this computer shit. If you were here, I could just fucking show you. I wouldn't have to try to fucking bundle it all up and fucking go searching through fucking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of fucking shit. I could just show you. I wouldn't have to try to figure out how to get all of this stuff to fucking send in an email when it's telling me that it's too large of a fucking file. I can just show you because it's right on my fucking computer. I take my computer in to show these people. My computer is there with me. But if there's not going to be any consequence for them, they're not going to do their jobs. They did all of this shit because they knew that nobody was going to make any honest fucking effort, and none of you did at the beginning. And then afterwards, it's a whole bunch of fucking me running around, fucking wasting money, wasting time, wasting resources. None of it fucking matters unless someone speaks up. It's all wasted time. It's all wasted money, and my life is hell, Brandon. Train. According to the ADA, I was supposed to have a guardian at 18. I'm 40 years old, dude. 40 years old. I've gone through enough fucking hell. I need help. I need people to actually stop exploiting my disabilities and fucking using it as an excuse to fucking steal from me and victimize me for every goddamn thing that goes wrong in their fucking lives. Like, most of y'all, you guys have problems that I can help with. Your problems, many of them that you call me, I can help with. But I can't help with it in this current situation because nobody spoke up. It hurts every single time that I think about you or Veronica or Miss Peaches. I'm like, why couldn't they speak up?
You know, from my point of view, Sean, the only time I knew who to speak to, I went jumped on calling every single frickin' police, frickin' every fucking office, frickin' in frickin' counties. I called county after county after county. I called fucking everybody I could. And, you know, hey, yeah, I didn't take note of who I was talking to. I thought that they were actually going to profile what I said. And now at this point, you know, I've never had a name or a phone number or anybody to call. I went and called all those people off of just freaking guess. You know what I mean? Well, who do I speak up to? Well, I'm going to just guess and call every fucking buddy I can.
And see, that's what I've been doing. They everybody that they tell me to talk to, like people are saying, well, what's the name of the investigating officer on your case? I'm like, they won't open a case. They're not letting me make a report. They're throwing them away. They're fucking telling me that they can't do anything because of this, and this, and all of their excuses that they made because it's just me. Like I had to record stuff later where they had told those things to people like Aaron Cockerham or Carl Rogers. Like the things that they were telling me were not the truth. When even today, like if people say, well, who do I talk to? Who do I call? I don't know. I've called everyone there is to call. But the other thing is people use that as a cop out to say, oh, well, if there's nobody to call, then there's no sense in me trying. And I try to explain, hey, most of these people, it is their job. They just aren't going to do anything unless someone else speaks up. And no matter how many times I explain that, it has to be in person and with me, or it's not going to be taken seriously. Like I didn't start off this way. Was this the way that I was when we met?
No.
And see, that's the thing is that a lot of people they told me that they would help me, and I'm different than I was for good reason. Like before, I didn't need their help. You know, when I had a good back, I didn't need people to help me move my fucking golf cart when it was busted. I didn't have a golf cart. I had a vehicle that ran. I had a fucking job that I loved. I went to fucking work every day. I did my shit. I took care of it and I went fucking home, even though my home was behind a fucking dumpster. I passed out those blankets even though I live behind a dumpster. I walked those people to the warming center even though I live behind a dumpster. Like the point here was that I was trying to explain to everybody from the beginning, hey, you got to go in with me. There needs to be a witness. If you're going in to file a report, you need to go in with somebody too. If you go in by yourself, it's not going to do any good. Calling them up and explaining it to them, that's not going to do any good. They told me that I had to have somebody go in with me, which I already knew. But then they're telling these other people who are trying to make a report because they can't keep their word to show up in person, and that's not my fault. It's not my fault that none of these people could keep their word. If they had family problems that prevented them from doing it and it's legit, hey, that sucks. But at the same time, it's still not my fault. If they were completely bullshitting me and they weren't telling the truth at any point, the fact is that's also not my fault. And with everybody not having time, like their reasons for not having time and not keeping their fucking word. Like when you get here, I want to fucking open up my email and fucking show you this shit. Like it's not that I'm not making an effort. They're literally going out of their way to do everything not to look at it. And unless someone is pissed off enough to say, hey, fucking, we're not going to take it, that is not how you treat a human being, and you need to knock it the fuck off. But a lot of the people that I got to go to have helped out my predators. I went to Miss Peaches for help with the Natalie situation and with Ken and Leah stealing all of my fucking money. And fuck, like when you and I were there, they had that fucking artificial wall up, and everything that I had worth a fucking dollar was behind that artificial wall.
So you mind if I put you on hold for 2 seconds and answer person that's inside? I'm sitting inside her Jeep.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay.
I wonder what this guy's got on his bag. Probably another thing.
What is a bug out bag? What is the purpose of a bug out bag? When do you use a bug out bag? What should be inside your bug out bag? And how many times did I just...
Does that guy kind of sound like the bad guy on Guardians of the Galaxy?
Hello?
Hey, Brandon.
Hey.
I'm watching some videos on bug out bags. A lot of these guys, they make a bug out bag and they do it for their YouTube channel. And then when they go out to test it, they realize it's shit. The last 3 guys that were on here that I was watching their videos, they were encountering problems that, well, most of us homeless people know to use dental floss for.
Yeah.
But it's pretty interesting watching a lot of these. A lot of people have this, the reality versus your idea of reality thing. This is all the stuff that I'm going to need. And here's my 80-pound rucksack. And then they get out there and they're like, shit, dude, I probably could have taken 60 pounds of that weight off.
Yep.
And then there's a lot of people that don't understand the difference between a get home bag and a go bag, or a go bag and a bug out bag are the same thing. But when you got a go bag, you're not talking, or when you got a get home bag, you're talking about like, a man purse, a small backpack, something like that. And there's some of these guys, they got like AR-15 strapped to the side of it. I'm like, dude, in a situation like that, that just gets you shot.
Well, yeah.
If there's
almost
somebody
anywhere you go.
If somebody wants a gun and you got it strapped to your backpack, you don't have it available to use it anyway. They could use a rock and take your gun. Never take a gun to a rock fight.
Yeah.
You end up with a situation where it's the police against civilians. end up getting targeted by both sides. You got the United States getting invaded by Russia. Well, you're still probably going to get targeted by both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
The thing is, dude, is that I will never be able to take care of myself as a result of this. I need to get help to get a safe environment, and having them throw every fucking excuse that they can at me why they're doing the right thing by ignoring me and ignoring the crimes against me. Like, that's just horse shit. The sheriff here, he wanted to start over fresh. That's what he told me. Let's start over brand new. And I'm like, all right, well, we can do that. And then immediately, well, he showed me that he wasn't starting off by the same set of rules he was wanting to start with me. I gave him a start over, not all of his officers and the shit that they did. They don't get a free fucking ride. Neither does Ted Bollinger. Neither do any of these other predators. Natalie Bollinger's family did a lot of fucked up shit, and I continue to be punished for it to this day. And people, instead of looking at the shit that they did and the fact that I was reacting to it, they just want to pretend like I did it out of nowhere. Like, when I was angry, like I was angry for no reason, probably because I'm schizophrenic. You know? Like when I was mad at fucking Josh, I got every right to be mad at Josh. Am I wrong?
No, you had every right.
And I didn't say nice things to Veronica, but I do feel that the way that she was treating me in that situation, especially given the fact that it was 4 days long of me just trying to explain to her, hey, you're getting everything wrong. Could you just call me and talk to me? And when she finally did call, it was just a whole bunch of fucking verbal fucking vomit. And it's all the stuff that she had taken wrong in texting. And I'm like, see, that's the reason that I wanted you to call, is because you're taking everything wrong in texting. Now that we're on a phone call, do you think you could listen? No, you can't. You're too busy treating me like shit over shit you got wrong in texting. In order for me to be able to take care of myself, I have to have a place where I am safe to do so. And I need to show how the environments that I have been in have been unsafe. And I have the ability to do that. I just have to have somebody who can speak up. And it's got to be somebody who was there for some of it. I mean, Steve Tomlinson was there for some of the aftermath, so he can bear witness to that. But I mean, you're one of the people that I went to for help before Natalie died and after Natalie died, and fucking even while I was in Virginia. I mean, you can verify. You can't verify every story that I tell. Obviously the stories that I'm telling about Miss Peaches, you weren't there for any of that.
Yeah.
But it's sounding like you got companies, so I'll probably let you go. Try to keep in contact with me. That money, without being able to defend myself, that money is not going to do me any good. It's just going to get wasted, and I'm going to be in the same position. If I gotta fucking pay you to be here, make sure that your daily expenses are taken care of. That money is. That's what it needs to go to. Anyway, I'm gonna let you go, Brandon. It sounds like you guys are getting ready to head and do your thing.
Okay. All right, man. I'll keep in touch.
Yes, sir. Be safe.
Hey, you too.
You see, he's not a bad dude. Not even close. With most of these people, it's not that they were bad people. With Mandy Hughes and Melissa Rainwater, it's not that they were bad people. They did some really bad shit, though. Same thing with Miss Peaches. And a lot of y'all are like, oh, well, she's a drug dealer. She's a terrible person. She's the scum of the earth. Well, she just sells weed, bud. Weed is legal in Colorado, by the way. And everybody in Colorado, you're welcome for fighting to make that happen. See, people had it in their head, hey, Sean, you're not fucking schizophrenic, so they can't fucking peg you as schizophrenic. No, they already decided they were gonna. You don't speak out about the system in Colorado for as many years as I have and stand up to the predators for as many years as I have and not know what the fuck is going on there. The conversation with Jayhawk on here, that's Ken. Well, actually, it's not Ken Wilson and Leah Plunkett's ex. It's Leah Plunkett's ex. He talks about some of the deaths in Boulder. He talks about the drug situation there. He talks about the human trafficking and some of the officers in specific who are involved. I mean, for a fucking retard, I was able to get a lot of fucking evidence. For a guy who lied about every goddamn thing, it turns out that I was able to find evidence that, yeah, all those things you were saying, Shorts, you're fucking lying. Turns out I was telling the truth. Oh, yeah, but you can't admit when you're wrong, can you? You can't admit when you make a mistake, can you? It must be Sean's fault. Like when Nicole Jarrell up there in the mountains when Red came up there. That's there's a few guys named Red, by the way. Um, this one was Bobby Sims. You know, when he cooks some meat in their frying pan, because Nicole Jarrell and her family are vegan. Well, you'd think, since although me and Red knew each other, the fact that I didn't know he was going to be there that day, the fact that it wasn't me who invited him, it was Nicole's mother. Well, you would think that it wouldn't come down on me, and I wouldn't be getting bitched about it for a fucking week and a half. I sure as fuck did, though. Every time I saw Nicole for like a week and a half after that, it's, well, your friend, your friend, your friend, your friend. Hold on a second there. No. If you got a problem with Red cooking red meat in your frying pan, you take it up with Red. I didn't invite him there. At that point, it's guilt by association, and you're fucking blaming me for decisions that had nothing to do with me. Her mom inviting Red and a few of his friends up there, that was her mom's decision to invite Red. It was Red's decision to say yes. So really, it wasn't Nicole's situation either. Why was Nicole bitching at me for a week and a half? Probably because her mom and dad were bitching at her for a week and a half, and shit rolls downhill. I didn't invite him up there. Nicole didn't invite him up there. Me and Nicole were just planning on her and I hanging out for the day, but that didn't get to happen. No, like I said, it all rolls downhill. People got these great and mighty ideas about me moving. Sean, did you ever think about moving? Obviously, these are folks who know who I am from other people's channels and not from my own because, well, I've explained how many times I've moved and why. I need help. These things that you expect me to do, I am barred from doing because of the term mentally ill. I am barred from doing them. That means prevented from doing so. It means I'm not allowed. If I say that 10 or 15 different ways, the way that people do when they try to shove an idea down my throat that I've already tried, been trying, and I'm already going through the fucking process to do again, yeah, I'm going to get pretty fucking overwhelmed with it. With Brandon, he wasn't the only person who didn't come forward. He wasn't the only person I went to for help. Of course, Brandon also didn't do all of the really fucked up shit that other people were doing to me. When I went to him for help, sure, you know, he was chasing women, but he wasn't drunk. He wasn't drunk like when Miss Peaches was going to help me the first time. The second and third time she wasn't drunk, but she was busy. Fourth time that I went to her for help was she actually did help me. She gave me a ride so that I could meet Miss Natalie at Natalie's request at the Starbucks in Boulder. The fifth time was when Natalie disappeared. Like, she was supposed to be helping me with get a lawyer and fucking going through some paperwork and hopefully getting a GoFundMe going. But you know, it turned into a real fucking scary situation because, I mean, here's Mandy Hughes, her fucking son is missing, and then there's fucking Shauna Sinclair and her daughter is missing, and then I'm supposed to get help right after we have dinner, and right as we're getting ready to cook dinner, I get a call from the cops. A call that I had been dreading for over a year. Once you call somebody a fucking stalker, everybody looks at them. If anything happens to you, everybody looks at them. Natalie did some pretty evil fucking shit. And I think once she realized how badly she fucked my life up, I think, well, that was the end of it for her. It was too late for her to go back and admit that she fucked up. There's a lot of these folks that they're really into reading. Like Shannon Alvarado. She said, I'm really into reading. It's like, yeah, I got a lot of stuff to read. It's one of the things she was going to help me with. She was going to go through and she was going to read that stuff. Well, you're not going to be able to do anything productive when you're fucking drunk. And when you're drunk on wine, you're either A, silly as fuck, or B, you're having a fucking shitty goddamn attitude for no goddamn reason. People say you can't blame the alcohol. You can't blame the alcohol. But then every fucking junkie, well, there's something fucked up they did that still affects your life to this day. And they can do something about it. What do they do instead? They cop out on you. Make one of them fucking excuses that magically validates their bullshit. You know, you just need to let the past go. You know, I'm recovering now. Can't you just be happy for me? No. In between when I left Virginia and when Natalie died, Maddie Bowe's excuse for not coming forward and not telling the truth was that she was going to AA meetings. Lady, I'm still being assaulted and can't see my loved ones over the bullshit that you fucking told. If you were really interested in fucking recovery, one of them steps, not sure if you fucking noticed, is to fucking make amends. I'm tired of my life being threatened. I'm tired of police blowing me off. And I'm tired of having to go to my predators for help. Why do I have to go to my predators for help? Because the people that I know who are not predators, like Brandon, are too fucking busy. When all this happened, it wouldn't have taken him long to write this down. And you see, just like these other people, he assumed that the cops, well, I don't have to reinterpret it for you. If you've listened to this whole video, you heard what he had to say about it. 25 vehicles. Shit, I don't even have one that runs. I went down to try to move my John Deere, It's stuck in place. I've been trying to get some help moving that thing for, well, about 2, 3 weeks. People don't have time, don't have time, don't have time. They're like, hey, Schwartz, I need your help. I need your help. I need your help. I can't take care of myself. I can't jump through all the hoops that I need to take care of myself. I have less resources than you. Yeah, you need to understand that you have to have less expectations of me, or your expectations aren't going to get met. If you're going to treat me like shit for fucking trying, well, then we got a really screwed up situation because you didn't try at all for me. All these people thought that once Joseph Michael Lopez was caught, that it was all over with. No, 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 no. Them police got their fucking teeth in me. I don't mean like biting me like a werewolf. I mean like they fucking clamped on and weren't gonna let go. They fucked up bad enough that they had to do everything that they could and pull in every goddamn favor that they could, so they didn't get into a whole hell of a lot more trouble than they did. But I'm gonna keep pushing till the day that I die. That's not for my fucking safety, it's for yours. Waylon Lolatai was allowed to move to Aurora, Colorado. He was let go in Denver because he just couldn't stop manhandling human beings. You just assuming that because somebody is locked up that they must be guilty shows what a POS you are. Once that officer became a beat cop, he was just glad to have somebody that he could harm. What did he get for assaulting someone in Denver? He got to go to Boulder, where he got to assault me and 6 other people. And then he gets to do the same thing. Now he gets to go to Aurora. Aurora. This is in between Denver and Boulder. He hasn't gone far. Says he had to move for his own safety. No, 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 no. You little bitch. You moved because it's the only thing saving your ass. But I tell you what, things are falling apart here quick. There might be a situation here, real local and handy. And I'm hoping that those situations don't end up happening. I'm hoping that we can pull together as a people and do the right fucking thing for once. But it's looking like you gun-toting fucking idiots want to point guns at the other victims because you're being victimized. You're a fucking idiot. Also, your fucking hunting rifle is not going to do shit against an Apache helicopter. Ugh. I'm saying that for those Second Amendment nuts who think that they're gonna defend themselves with fucking pea shooters or the equivalent thereof. The government and the people that work for them have been stealing your money for years. They use that money for buying things and creating things and building things and training people to run those things so that they can kill people. So yeah, your fucking sporting rifle ain't gonna do squat. Now there is a way to fight this, but we have to work together. And we have to be willing to do it in a peaceful manner. Now, if police officers are instigating, or the KKK is instigating, it is well within your rights to slam them on the ground and disarm them so that they cannot harm anyone else. It is your right under international law to actually tie that person up, to imprison that person, whether they have a badge or not. If you are assembled at a peaceful protest and officers are instigating the situation, yes, you may forcibly remove them from the situation. Forcibly. That means with use of lethal force if necessary. It is 100% legal to shoot an officer for being a bully. Problem is, it's only legal on paper, and we don't live on fucking paper, do we? And you got to hear with Brandon, he didn't know. He didn't know. And although I told everybody, they didn't know until they experienced it for themselves. Brandon didn't know until he experienced for himself. Erin Cockerham didn't know until she experienced for herself. Carl Rogers didn't know until she experienced for herself. Candace Bondurant did not know until she experienced for herself. And then when they did experience it for themselves, they were fucking petrified. Candace only had to take a small portion, just a tiny portion. When I was going to make those videos of Candace's, I started taking pictures off the wall. I already knew that there's fucking wingnuts out there who are going to look for any fucking reason. I didn't want to be identified at Candace's house because I didn't want her fucking to have to deal with that. But guess what? It didn't get to work out that way, did it? No, it didn't. Like on paper, as a disabled person, I have all sorts of fucking rights. I have rights up the wazoo on fucking paper. But once that body camera comes off, it's their word versus mine. I'm called mentally ill. They have a badge. I'm automatically in the wrong. Whether I'm right or wrong doesn't make any difference. I'm less credible. And that's what they played on, between looking at evidence and playing with credibility to try to hide their crimes. From here to Boulder to Broomfield, across the goddamn board. Disabled people and homeless people don't fucking matter. Oh yeah, and chasing vagina is pretty fucking important, ain't it? Now Brandon, he says that he's an equal opportunity person. Kind of. If it's a woman, she is going to take first priority. Always. Plus, he's a hopeless romantic. He thinks if he's a good guy and he keeps showing these women what a good guy he is, maybe one of them will want him. Are you pulling her hair and smacking her ass, dude? One of the women that he was talking to me about, the reason that I said that, by the way, women that he liked, that he was like, well, you know, things are over between me and Veronica. There's this girl that I like. I'm like, oh my God, dude. No, 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 no. You're a nice guy. You're going to treat her nicely. You're going to think that she's going to want to get all kissy kissy. No, dude, she's a straight up freak. All right. She comes down when she's fucked up on meth and tells a bunch of homeless guys about how she likes to have her fucking hair pulled and her ass slapped. Um, yeah, she's nice. She's also pretty. She's also petite. She's really skinny, you know. She's little. And I know a lot of guys are into that. You know, they're into the fucking short women. Like whatever, you know. What if she's a short woman with a shitty attitude and there's a woman who's a foot taller than you who is fucking wonderful? Are you gonna say, yeah, I couldn't date a woman who's taller than me? You might. I know a lot of women who refuse to date a dude who's shorter. I'm 5'8", so if you're not at least 5'9", we can't date. Like, that's kind of weird. You think that mental and emotional compatibility would be a little more important than the looks. If a woman needs help, she generally gets it pretty fucking quick. Most of the women that I know for years and years got it extremely quick. They happen to know somebody who worked jobs that they could take a break from, or they would go, hey, you know what? I get off work at fucking 5:30. I'll be in town by 6. We'll get all of your stuff packed up. And when I get off work tomorrow night, I'll help you move it to where it needs to go. With a lot of people, like when Rebecca was moving out, she was complaining that her help didn't show up, and I just happened to be walking by while she was talking on the phone, complaining that her help didn't show up. Did I help her move? You goddamn right I did. I was able to do a lot more before I fucked up my back. Brandon didn't fuck up his back yet. He's able to do a lot of shit that I'm not able to do. Also, he's got an education in places that I don't. He's an electrician. I'm not. I can build every other part of a house. Matter of fact, most of the goods that are in a house, I can actually go out and harvest the. Well, therein lies the problem, ain't there? I got the knowledge and the experience. I just ain't got the body to do it anymore. A lot of people, they want my help and they expect that I'm going to be able-bodied like I was before, even though I've explained to them that I'm not. And then when I'm not able to, they're like, well, shit, Schwartzy, you should have told me you were that fucked up. I did. I fucking did. With these folks, they're not bad people. They did bad shit. A lot of them, it had an effect on me, and they just simply don't want to hear it, or they don't want to believe that their decisions had an impact or an effect on me. Like Candace Bondurant, right at the very beginning when she was pretending like she was going to help me. I say pretend for a reason. She may have had the intention of helping me, but once that situation happened with Officer Michael Beard, yeah, helping me was no longer a priority. Getting rid of me as fast as possible, no matter what kind of a situation she was throwing me into, was more important. For a lot of these people, it's a matter of pride. They should have come forward. They should have admitted from the start that I went to them for help. They should have admitted from the start that they didn't keep their word. Now, that's a moral issue there. That's their problem, not mine. Then again, it really is my problem. Whether you say that their moral discrepancy or my problem or not, I still have to deal with the consequences. I mean, hell, I got to deal with the consequences of Ted Bollinger and Tim fucking Beeson having sex with an underage girl. That's right, I still have to deal with that bullshit. If anything happens to any of my predators, I have people threatening my life. I can prove that what Danica Garner did was predatory. I can prove what the entire Bollinger family did was predatory. I can prove that what Rochelle Shelley Campbell did was predatory. I can prove that what Candace Bondurant did was fucking predatory. Now, the fact that they did, some of these people did these predatory acts out of fear of the police, and some of them did it out of fear of their friends not liking them anymore. These are not choices that I make. People say, you chose this. No, I didn't. No, the fuck I didn't. There were 4 different occasions that Brandon was going to go in with me. In between when Natalie died and when I ultimately had to threaten the President of the United States, because none of these agencies people tell me to call are doing a goddamn thing. They are taking your money, that is it. When a disabled person is being abused, you're supposed to call this number, right? So I call that number and they tell me it's not their job, it's somebody else's. That's how you get treated as a male. This isn't even coming into contact with the mentally ill tag yet. This is just how you're treated as a male. Brandon, you hear him explaining how he didn't even think to write down the name of the officer or any of that stuff. I record it. I will straight up record it. Because when it's your word versus a bad cop, that cop has the badge. Your word don't mean shit. They can turn it on and off their body cameras. They can come up to you, instigate it, then press the little button on their camera. And while you're busy not paying attention because you're like, hey, you need to stop doing that. You guys keep coming down here and harassing us about our friends. You motherfuckers need to stop. Boom! Use the fighting words. You're slammed on the ground. You're getting arrested. Woo-hoo. Go Broncos. Meanwhile, I got nobody that I can talk to about my problems that's actually going to do anything. Nobody in town is going to lift a goddamn finger. Not unless it comes to harming me. Now, there's a lot of people in this town who I have called out on their bullshit in person. And they knocked their fucking shit off immediately. If you knock your shit off, we don't have a fucking issue. I'm glad that you knocked your shit off. Thank you very much for not adding to the problem. Now, it would be nice if you would become part of the solution, but I get it. Small town politics, family name and whatnot. Merry goddamn Christmas, motherfuckers.